So it don't really matter, if you working or getting welfare. So they still gonna treat you the same way. So that's why I decided to give up trying to get the white man's approval. And since they promised me a deal that they gave everybody else, the Indians and Mexicans, they get a check every month. And nobody called them out, nobody make shame them, nobody make fun of them because they feel entitled to that check, right? They felt like they're entitled. Well, I'm entitled to a check, right? And the Indians, all of the Indians or the Mexicans, that they get their little just due, they wasn't in ancient days.
And so ideal for them that they wish to remain in public housing. We are trying to get them upgraded, if you will, so that they can go out in the open market and find private housing. If I had a choice of living at Robert Taylor Homes or in a dilapidated shack, I would choose Robert Taylor Homes.
When I visit my mother in what some people may call a slum area, I feel this is home. Not because it's my mother's home, but it's because I feel free. I've left behind me the noise. I left behind me the hundreds of children. I left behind me these stone walls closed in on you. When I go there, I can sit on a porch on my kitchen.
And what y'all see is Big Mama had a house. Her mama had a house, but her daughter lived in the projects because she was with 6 kids. More than likely, Mama was probably married. So we got to understand where this stuff started to fracture, and it just started to fracture in a real way. And so if we are talking about 2025 and asking people these questions, it's valid, but it's not valid to ask them the same questions we would ask Bonquisha today. It's 2 different circumstances.
Facts. That right there, that's my family. The folks with the house, that's my Aunt Thelma, Uncle Booze. They were married. Uncle Booze served in the military. And Thelma, I think she was a nurse, and they had a house in Pittsburgh. I think Squirrel Hill somewhere up there. And my grandma, mama, they all gravitated to the projects. And like I said, I come from the worst of it. Like my family, they aspired to just take over a whole project building. So like grandma lived on the 3rd floor, big sister and everybody wanted to move downstairs. They had zero plans on leaving and didn't. They didn't leave.
Yeah, I had a similar experience. Like I said, my grandma had a house, but we all lived in the projects. My mom, her sisters, all my cousins. It was, but my grandma married a married woman. It started to fracture family. That's why I'm trying to tell you. I only can tell you what I know.
And we used to think Aunt Thelma was so mean. She used to always call Gam Gam a welfare 304, talk to her bad. And grandma used to, Aunt Thelma, she just, cantankerous. But we were kids. But now as an adult and realized that they sold her house and everything. And I get it. I get why that old lady on her deathbed was calling her everything but a child of God, because she saw it all going away. And there was nothing she could do. Uncle Booze passed away and they left everything to Gam Gam. And she, boom, out of there, sold. Gone.
I was looking at the chat and they're saying, Jay Tillman's only looking at surface level. I'm like, okay, let me reevaluate what I'm kind of thinking on. And then you just played that last clip. Big Mama's got a house. Big Mama, listen, I will do what I need. I'm not going to talk to no men. I got these 6 kids. The money that I'm getting for this, I'm a pay to you. I'm gonna make sure these kids keep this house clean. We're gonna take care of the yard, because when you pass, this house is going to somebody else. So can we live with you? I promise you, we will not be in your way. Please, Big Mama, let me stay here. The neighborhood is safer. I can't do this with these kids. These are your grandkids. How come she couldn't stay in there? I don't know why she couldn't. She should have been in that house with family.
Now, because these were the rebels, Brother Jay. The 6'5" or whatever, and these were the rebels. They were not about to go be under nobody's rule. That's why they left at 15, 14 in the first place. Now they ain't about to go back and you tell them what to do. That's why.
It was freedom. Still is today. For any young single mom to get your own place is freedom.
I hear y'all, and I see Rakai telling me to stop in the chat. I can't stop. It might be anecdotal, but I told y'all my parents came from this. My parents came from this.
Well, I would say
9
I would
brothers
say
and
it probably
sisters, my
can be,
dad, all sleeping in the
but
same room.
listen, Jay, it probably could be very anecdotal, like we said about Anton. Sometimes we do got to take a step back because it can be.
And I'm not talking about my condition. I'm literally talking about my parents' condition during this time. My dad is 74. Like that, it happened during that. He came from like they had dirt floors in his house.
Granted.
Like, so it seems like it's pretty like shitty to say because I'm not in this situation. I know a lot of other outlying things were happening during this time period. I understand that, but it's still the personal individual choices that people chose to make. She chose to have 6 kids. She said she want to have a whole bunch more. That's her mentality. She just want to have kids. Knowing that she's living in isolated to that situation that she was, and she's complaining about painting walls and not hanging pictures. That's a kind of humanity that they take away from you when you're living like that. I understand that, Sister Ebony, but she put herself there. She put herself in that. Her mom got a nice, beautiful house there.
And these people want jails to be comfortable and have
I don't think anybody absolving her of being a single mom. Just to come down to understanding of the times. Like I said, if you're asking Bonquisha today why she got 6 kids, we can get real critical. But back then, the information wasn't there, Jay. I get what you're saying, but it was a different time.
Rakai, please come up. Rakai, please come up and explain it to me. I'm ignorant in this then because I can only see it from a place of individual choice. Well, even though bad stuff happens to you, if people put you in a horrible situation, it's still your choice. I made horrible decisions.
When is not a choice
I made?
When is anything not a human choice that we do?
Yeah, that's why I don't make a lot of excuses for people. And people hate me and get mad at me.
Here we go. So that's what I wanted to say. Your choice can only be as good as the information you have. That's where we blurring this line. You can JW. I want to give JW. He ain't said nothing. I get what you're saying, Jay. In 2025, you got ChatGPT, you got college, you've been educated, your parents were great, you know a lot. You can only make as good as choices as the information and knowledge that you have, Jay Tillman. So we can't, like I say, you blurring the lines.
To go off of the last comment, if it was really designed for people to get on their feet and to move on, then first of all, this is during segregation. They didn't even want us drinking out of the same fountains and even swimming in the same pools as them, let alone getting employment at certain jobs. So there were a lot of people who couldn't even really get jobs all like that. And they were offered pennies, in order to work. So if they weren't getting the loans for homes, if they were getting redlined and all these things were going on, where else were they supposed to go? I understand Unc be streaming and Jay Tillman, you guys were like, well, why didn't they do this? If you're not getting employed and they're not allowing you to live in certain places, and this is what they have set up, where else, like, what would you have suggested for them to do?
Oh, they didn't have any choice. But my question is, why is it still going on today?
I think that's where we get conflation from 2025 from 1960. She was talking about back then. I get her point.
I understand that. So I completely agree with everything about back then. I completely agree with everything about back then. But we still black people. We was black people then. We black people now. Then I understand. But the question is, why these same black people still doing it today? And nobody.
Which is why I said to the comment before is that it was not designed for us to come to get on our feet, or else there wouldn't have been so many stipulations. So even right now, people that live in the projects or Section 8 or whatever and stuff, you can't pass a certain amount of dollar in order for you to qualify. So they're kind of keeping them in that position because they know if they make too much money, then they won't qualify for those benefits anymore. And they'll have to start paying for things. I'm not saying that it's the right choice. I'm just saying it was never designed for us to get on our feet and to not utilize them anymore. That's the whole plan. They wanted us to be in those environments, to not get on our feet and to do those things.
So why are we playing along with them?
I get what they're saying. Well, now we are, but back then I get it. And I have said this.
Right.
Yeah, back then, shout out to the movie Claudine, right? The dude he was talking about, he said, what am I supposed to do? He said, I'm doing my best. And I acknowledge that, you to some degree, I've acknowledged we all are a product of our environment. It's a tough pill to swallow, man. It really is. Like I said, we come from it. I don't excuse it. However, I can see if we lost a lot of friends and family members to the madness of the ghetto, to the projects. I understand. However, we still got to keep moving forward. Acknowledge it and move forward.
I left behind me these stone walls closed in on you. When I go there, I can sit on the porch, or my kids can go in the yard and play. I can open a door and walk out and say, don't do this, or come inside and eat. These little small things really what matters.
We do want them to better themselves. That is the sole purpose of the public housing program. We want their morale to go up. We hope and pray that they can merely use public housing for an economic reason, and that they will better themselves, get better jobs, make more money, and go into the private market. We are not in competition with the private market.
So as y'all see, Robert Taylor Holmes, about the early 1990s, it was over. All right, building destroyed, covered in litter. All right, you had the gang violence, all this going on. 97% of the tenants were unemployed by 1993. You know, you had the vice lords and the GDs and all that going on. It was over. They tore it down. And now go look what's down there. Go look what's down there in Chicago.
That's crazy. They said a maintenance man was beaten to deletion.
Yeah. Maintenance man. Yeah, go ahead, Mr. Walker. Maintenance man, that's what finally closed it. Why did he beat to deletion? Because he let the police into the building. And so they can do a raid during a gang meeting, I think. There was a meeting going on. One of the janitors let the police in, and they did a raid, and they found out who he was, and they took him out.
And ninjas have said that's the man's fault. Ninjas would say the man painted that graffiti all over the buildings. Ninjas would say the man tore all that stuff down. And ninjas would say the man got something to do with them stomping out that maintenance worker who probably was somebody who looked just like them.
JP,
that's what ninjas would say.
JP, do you think that maintenance man should have got stomped out?
We're going to get you in, JP. We about to get final thoughts. We ain't going to be up here too much longer. JP, what you got, brother?
So I come from the ghetto, right down the street, from Chicago, with Milwaukee area. A lot of us got the same family. Everybody's still from Mississippi. That's where like our original roots from, like Mississippi. They moved to Chicago, then Milwaukee. When they filled up in the projects in Chicago, that's when they came to Milwaukee and filled up the neighborhoods there. But they all related. I would say to what Unc been saying, Wise, you want me to be quiet or?
You are a false prophet, and security, take him out of here.
No, keep going, Jay. Just keep going.
So, the same way that when they fought for us to sit on the front of the bus, we go right to the back today. Right? The same way we used to get whipped, we whip our kids the same way. The same way that they used to force black women to have sex with them, they willingly doing today. So it's no different. It seems like everything that was forced on us, we doing it now. So with that being said, we was forced, couldn't get these jobs. So we decided not to work. And I personally believe that black people, we've been working and slaving, try to get approval from Eurocentric since we've been over here. And it don't matter if we was on welfare or working a job or getting a career. We still get viewed the same way. We are a monolith in America. I know black people like to want to think that they live like white people and is they not the same as the regular ninjas out the ghetto, but you are the same. They view all of us the same. There has been examples of educated black people who have been destroyed in the court of law, who has been destroyed from the police department, and et cetera, et cetera. They got fired from their jobs. These engineer happened in my city, the Miller Parkway. He actually came on my Facebook Live a week before he deleted 5 white guys at the Miller company. So it don't really matter, if you working or getting welfare. So they still gonna treat you the same way. So that's why I decided to give up trying to get the white man's approval. And since they promised me a deal that they gave everybody else, the Indians, the Mexicans, they get a check every month. And nobody called them out, nobody make shame them, nobody make fun of them because they feel entitled to that check, right? They felt like they're entitled. Well, I'm entitled to a check, right? And the Indians, all of the Indians or the Mexicans, that they get their little just due, they wasn't in ancient days. We even got the J community who got destroyed in another country that comes over here and got power as if Americans did something to them. The Americans didn't do anything to the J community. The Germans did. But yet, Americans taking care of them and nobody got no problem with it. So I said, man, okay, well, it seems like the people that get respect is the people that get them checks. So I decided to remove myself from the workplace. Because at this point, it's like I'm expected to be a slave. Because anytime you got to be forced to do something or feel obligated for no reason at all, and they have quantified, put up a standard. Well, this is a man playing on our head, so we can tell each other, well, a real man go out there and work, but you ain't working for yourself. These bridges, these infrastructure that Black people are building, you Google the people who built it, who is it named after, it don't got name one of us names on there. And we've been building it. They got somebody else that was either working in the office that didn't get dirty, or somebody that didn't even work in the on the grounds at all. But we put in the work. So I said, well, I'm gonna do my way and get my respirations, my 48 acres in the mule check every month and get on welfare.
Let me ask you this.
I decided to get off of it with my food card.
Let me ask you this, JP. Do you think all Black people should not work?
Yes. I think Black people should take a 30-year break.
And then what? Who's gonna take care of us?
The government.
They shut down right now.
Well, not necessarily.
Well,
I just got approved for W-2 welfare benefits.
W-2? What's W-2? What's that?
W-2 is an upgrade of welfare. They changed. They make you now got to either work a part-time job or
you got to work. W-2 is a job.
Or you could go fill out for jobs and pretend like you looking for jobs. I go fill out some astronaut jobs just to show them, okay, he fill out for astronaut position and then get hired and stuff like that. So I know how to tweak it a little bit.
They gonna get you, Jay. For what? They gonna find out. They're gonna say, Jay Prince, you can't be an astronaut. You can't be a rocket scientist. They're gonna say you gotta apply for bigger money.
It's unethical and racist to tell me that. Because I feel like I am qualified to do these type of. They usually W-2 they just want to see you off your butt for 4 hours, So you just go on the computer and go up there and fill out some little bogus jobs that you can't get rid of.
There's suffering in your decision. There's much suffering.
No, I'm not suffering. This is the first time I felt the state of freedom. You would think me working and making money, I will be free. I was more imprisonment than I am today on government assistance.
Well, hold on. Let me ask you this. Do you think it's levels to working now? Everything ain't equal. All jobs ain't the same.
Well, I think if you working, you should be building something for yourself, working for yourself. If you're going to go work, like for example, I got a hot dog cart and a food truck, and my food truck just about open. So once I get off here, before I touch that field again, I'm going to be working for myself. I don't want to rush to go out there and work for putting my life in the hands of a boss that going to pick with me and say, well, your voice too deep. Or, they find woo out the band, find little ways to get rid of you or make you got to walk on your tippy toes. You had to change your voice. You had to cut off your hair. You had to wear skinny ass jeans. Man, anybody got time for that?
You had to work up to
If
that,
I can't
JP.
be myself, I don't want to be there.
You had to work up to that. You had to work. Then you have to work to get jobs to work and save up and get your food truck and hot dog cart.
No, I didn't. I used the stimulus checks and my baby
Did
mama.
you have to file with the state to get the certification for the hot dog truck and the food cart?
Right.
Well, that's what I'm about to do now. So I owe them. I got to pay $900 to do that. But at least it's going.
How you gonna get the $900?
Well, I'm trying to find me another chick. To tell them the dream. Or it's many ways. It's many ways. I know how to. I can't share it.
You have to stop. Y'all keep talking. Huh? You keep talking, man. And you shut the fuck up.
I got you out of here, JP. Let somebody bring you back.
Yeah, you was just cooking, brother JP. Shout out to Richard Me to come through with the 100 ball. Says, let me save you, JP, from the listening ears of the United States government before you destroy your government benefits. Oh, that was love. Yeah, he said, stop dry snitching on yourself, JP.
Shout out to Richard.
I don't give a fuck what you think, bitch. Your thoughts ain't my thoughts.
There's a part of me that want to say,
Go ahead, Classy. Good to see you up here, but don't be a stranger, Ninja.
It started off good in the beginning, and it just plummeted all the way down to the pits of hell.
It was only one way it was going.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, he seems to be comfortable in that situation. It's not something that I condone, but hey, I guess you gotta live your life.
It's the honesty that I respect. You heard him?
Yeah, you gotta respect the honesty.
He said so, Mr. Walker.
Wow.
Listen, he be up here. Bonquisha say, I'll be putting in applications. I have said it. I said she be trying to apply to NASA. And y'all be like, you don't know. Thank you, JP. Y'all just be confirming what we telling y'all, man.
I love it. He said, I'm just going to mess around. I just show him stuff. I was on unemployment one time, and it was only for like 3 weeks or 2 weeks. Yeah, they cut me off quick. And yeah, you had to go to the mall, and show them that you trying to work. I found me a job. I wasn't trying to scheme nothing. But I guess, I don't know. I guess to each his own, JP said he ain't struggling. He having a good time. He feel free. Freedom.
Relative. Like I told Jay earlier, come down to the knowledge. We got to educate ourselves and want more for us, families. I'm going to keep saying it. Like I say, two things is true. If you operating without the knowledge, you're going to be doing some ignorant stuff. But we got to get back to the families. To question of tonight, the truth about our community. We need a real plan, and it don't involve the government assistance. Not like that. Maybe because some of the welfare programs are good. Shout out to Beans, right? Some of the welfare program, but when we talk about food stamps and stuff, you have to meet a certain criteria to qualify for some of that stuff. We want the stuff that Bill Gates and them getting, right? We want all that stuff, the good welfare. We don't want the bad stuff.
I want to be in position to be a resourceful father to all my kids up until my last days. That's my desire. That's why I work. Ain't got nothing to do with me. As much my life is bigger than me. My life is not my own. It belongs to my family. I'm not about to sit here and be comfortable. I'm not looking for comfort. I'm not looking for comfort. I shall earn my leisure. I shall work my way into comfort. But yeah, this is for the family. Like I said, that's my undying passion. I got to see my family do better than me. I grew up in those projects. I grew up eating sleep for dinner. I know all about it. And I'd be dang if I continue that cycle, knowing the nightmares and trauma that it gave me. I believe it to be evil to pass down these curses. And they are curses because you can get rid of them. And I often say that we are, taking or pouring from an empty cup, but that's not exactly true. The empty cup has a false bottom. We got to look deeper, much, much deeper than slavery and Jim Crow Our roots go much, much deeper than that. Our history did not start with slavery.
No.
There you go. And that's part of the problem as well, right? That woman in that video back in 1962, there was a disconnect, right? She didn't have the knowledge from slavery. This stuff wasn't passed down. It's unfortunate. Like I say, I agree, it's unfortunate, but we got to do better in 2025. We are literally making the same excuses. We cannot, it's unacceptable at this point. Even if I could sit here and accept some of this back in the day, today, this is why we go so hard, because we should know this stuff and move accordingly. These are cautionary tales. Some of this stuff was probably meant to happen so we can get to better days, but we can't remain in this state.
And I'm sorry, and I have to call this out, being in the medical field. This information, you can get it on the internet. This information has been out since the 90s. I remember when it was just one single mother. Something in me told me that this is going to grow and it's going to get out of control if we don't put a stop to it. I seen it coming. And with all the contraceptives and everything, there is no way you should just be getting pregnant out of the blue like that.
They just hunt you, man.
Unless you're trying to be underneath the government's thumb, my opinion.
Well, she said she wanted to have a bunch of kids, but that lady looked nice, man. She had a nice dress on, earrings was in, hair was done up.
Still was
talking about that lady?
That lady?
No, I'm talking about. I'm talking about.
Look at that hair. Hair looked nice.
No, I'm sure, but I'm talking
glowing,
about
nice
in
dress,
today's
necklace,
world, and I'm just talking about
smoking the cigarettes. I hear you, Classy. I hear you.
No, I know you know. I know you just.
Them the girls was matching. Everybody looked nice.
See, y'all don't see the horror here. See. Shout out to you, brother Jay Tillman. Like, and again, like at this point, I don't think there's anything wrong with us giving our lived experience. I think we have to. What else can we give? You know, at the same time, me and Mr. X, I swear I can't stress it. We live that out. Those little girls, they become statistics. You know, I'm telling you, we know there's nothing glorious. That was the fall. Gam and Pat with that house and them living in the projects. Them baby, I'm telling you, it's a whole field trip going to grandma's house. It's clean, it's quiet. They spoil you with name brand sweets and treats, just regular stuff, but it seemed like they rich. Those were our rich uncles. They were living on a fixed income. But to us, they were rich.
And a lot of things is crazy is these kids don't even know what Sunday dinners are.
Facts, man.
I know as well. The same thing this lady is my first cousin. She got into the dibbling and dabbling and stuff, and her children looks like a United Nations. Let's just say that they all. I'm talking about different, black, light skin, Blasian, everything. So I know that what you talking about. When I say some of this stuff, like when I say she dressed nice and stuff like that, I know it's on the other side of that as well. Like you said, them kids is just she just setting them up to be victims because Pop, he the only one that was there. And then some other knucklehead in that town thing or whatever going to get them out there doing all kinds of wild stuff. They're going to get the drinking or whatever. Then they're going to just perpetuate what mom did already. And it's not even going to be as structured as mom is right now. Cause she's still, even if it's like a little bit of chaos in there, I still see some structure in what she got going on. Her kids don't look ruly. They might be when they get out around the other kids, but her kids look pretty, but every generation that goes from her on, I already know what it looks like.
That was still a little fear of grandma. Yeah, there was a respect and fear for grandma. Grandma laid leather to your rear end. So that was and Thelma, she would get us. That's why they act like that. But like you said, soon as that family structure went away, it became a free for all, and it felt like overnight.
And it's just like when you like, for example, you know how you see in a lot of these television shows and stuff where that kid is always getting into trouble. He gets arrested or excuse my language, he gets shot. I see him in the hospital. You always see that black mother say, "Oh, he was a good baby. He was a good boy." And I'm thinking, yeah, he was good to you, but out in the public, he's a different person.
Yep.
And I would say my problem with being overly anecdotal is we will have to tell the whole truth, because I would say if I would just sit here and say, well, I made it out this and that, but for every one Gavin X, there's 100 Nug dead or in prison. So that's the math of it all. I can't see everybody. I made it out. Y'all ain't got no excuses. Yada, yada, yada. You know, or that was my grandma. You know, my grandma made out, but there was 1,000. So we just got to weigh it all out.
Yes, there's going to be a Ben Carson that comes out of that situation. There's going to be a Kevin Durant come out that situation or something like that. But we all know the majority of these kids, it's something in a kid's mind that says, this is not what I want for my life. And a lot of these single mothers don't know. A lot of these children despise them for putting them in that situation. That's what helps them actually grow. But we also know there's a lot of them that don't have the mental capacity or the mental strength to actually break out of that. They're going to be another statistic. There's a ton of them. You're absolutely right about that, Mr. Gavin.
And I think I saw it on an old SBC live where y'all was saying that corner boys pretty much make minimum wage. I think that's something that happened. They say corner boys pretty much make minimum wage. So you putting your life in jeopardy from, you know, perishing or going to prison or jail. And you're making the same thing you would make if you just went to school for, you know, be an electrician. You will make more, actually.
Yes.
That's a McDonald's job, Wendy's, Dairy Queen. Like, what's the point?
And
it's the
true.
Mentality.
It's observable. Yeah, Miss X have the press
information. Not to cut you off, Mr. Walker, but they don't have the information. Believe it or not, ain't nobody explained that to them, Jay. As simple as that was, we up here on an open platform giving away free game. Nobody ever sat there and told these ninjas, you know, you only because they chasing the dream. Everybody watching Scarface and want to be Tony Montana. So it's almost like telling a high school football player to stop playing. Well, he like, no, I'm going to the NFL. So it's always chasing that dream and false hope. And nobody's telling the truth like you just did.
And it's that instant gratification. You know, I'll never forget, may rest in peace, my cousin. We're in gym class, and he had just got a hold of some work. He had got him a little car, and I remember we sitting in gym class, and my ignorance, I was proud of him. I said, "What's up, cuz?" I said, "You coming over chill?" He said, "No, cuz I got a date today." And he was glowing, and he said, "Yeah, you know, he had started being a street pharmacist." And he was like, "Man, I got a date, man, I got a car." And he gave me a couple bucks. And I get it. I'm like, that's what can you say? Like, that's how they claim, that's how they gain their manhood. A job at McDonald's, you ain't getting no coup de kata. I worked at Wendy's. I know it. Listen, you got the D-boy cousin in the Caprice Classic with the sound system, or you got the wholesome guy walking from Wendy's in the Payless shoes. It ain't happening. So I understand the sick allure.